Hello, my little dreamers. Welcome to Storytime Magic, where every story sparkles with adventure and kindness. Tonight, we'll follow Ava and her fluffy ginger cat, Fluffy, as they sail under the moonlight toward a mysterious island full of glowing lanterns. Are you ready? Let's begin our magical journey together.
Ava and Fluffy on the moonlight deck. Journey to the Island of Lanterns. The scent of the sea from the window of dreams. That night, a soft breeze swayed the curtains in Ava's room. The moon shone like polished silver in the sky, and from somewhere far away came the faint scent of salt and sea. Ava sat on her bed, half awake, while her fluffy ginger cat, Fluffy, was curled beside her, purring like a sleepy violin. Ava placed her small hand on his soft ears and whispered, "Fluffy, do you hear that? It sounds like waves coming from the window." Fluffy's ears twitched. In the stillness of the room, they both heard it clearly. Shh, like the breath of a giant seashell. Ava climbed out of bed, opened the balcony door, and gasped. The garden was gone. In its place stretched a silvery beach, cool sand beneath her feet, and beyond it, the endless shimmer of the sea beneath moonlight. On the sand lay something glowing faintly, a blue seashell, larger than her hand. As she picked it up, golden letters shimmered above it. "If you wish to reach the Island of Lanterns, follow the trail of moon mist. The Ship of Moonlight awaits you." Ava's heart thumped. "The Island of Lanterns?" she murmured. Fluffy meowed softly, as if to say, "Let's go." She quickly packed her tiny backpack, a small bottle of water, a slice of bread wrapped in paper, her little notebook and pencil, and her favorite scarf, just in case it got chilly. With one last look at her cozy room, Ava stepped barefoot into the glowing sand, holding Fluffy close as they followed the silver mist winding toward the horizon. Chapter 1. The Ship of Moonlight. The mist led them across the calm, whispering sea. Soon a shadow appeared in the distance, a ship unlike any other. Its sails looked like soft, glowing clouds, and lanterns of turquoise light hung gently from every mast. At the foot of a rope ladder stood a crab wearing a tiny captain's hat. His whiskers twitched proudly, and a small telescope hung from his neck. "Welcome, travelers of the light," the crab said in a raspy yet kind voice. "I am Captain Crobby, master of the Moonlight Ship. Do you have your invitation?" Ava showed him the blue seashell. Crobby winked. "That will do just fine." Fluffy climbed first, paws gripping carefully, tail flicking like a small flag. As soon as Ava stepped onto the deck, a delicate bell rang. Ding! And the sails unfurled on their own. The ship slid forward smoothly, guided by the mist itself. Captain Crobby turned and said, "Our destination, the Island of Lanterns, where every lantern holds the story of a kind heart. But before we reach it, you must earn 3 tokens from the guardians of the sea: the ancient blue whale, the sky manta, and the singing dolphins. Only with all 3 will the lanterns awaken." Ava smiled. "We're ready. The sea is full of stories. I can feel it." Fluffy purred in agreement, eyes glowing like twin amber moons. And the Ship of Moonlight sailed on into the soft, silver horizon. Chapter 2. The Song of the Ancient Whale. Dawn came softly, painting the waves in hues of lavender and rose. "The first guardian is near," said Captain Crobby, peering through his telescope. The ocean stirred deeply. A vast shadow rose from the depths, a blue whale, ancient and majestic, its back glistening with sunlight and salt. A fountain of water burst from its blowhole, scattering rainbows across the waves. Ava's breath caught. Fluffy crouched beside her, wide-eyed. The whale spoke, its voice deep and echoing like the sea itself. "Brave children of the shore, what is it that you seek?" Ava replied, "We seek the island of lanterns to awaken their sleeping lights." The whale rumbled softly. "Each lantern shines for kindness. To earn my token, you must help one of my children." From the distance, a tiny sea turtle struggled, tangled in a fisherman's net. Without hesitation, Ava called for a rescue rope and carefully untied the knots, while Fluffy scratched at the netting with his small claws. At last, the turtle was free. It circled the ship happily and tapped its beak gently on the wood, a small, grateful kiss. The whale smiled. A ripple of calm spread through the sea. "You have done well, little one. Take this, the shell of truth. When you place it to your ear, you will hear the voice of what is real." Ava held the shell close and heard a soft hum, like the sea singing a lullaby of love. Captain Crobby nodded. "One token down! Now, onward to the sky manta." Chapter 3. Walking on the Waves. By noon, the sky turned dazzling blue, and the sea sparkled like living glass. "The sky manta lives here," Crobby explained. "It glides between sea and air, dancing on sunlight." A vast shadow glided under the surface, then rose, a manta ray with wings wider than a house, covered in silvery speckles that glowed in daylight. Ava felt no fear, only awe. The eyes were calm and wise. "Travelers of light," the manta said, its voice airy and smooth. "To reach the island of lanterns, you must master balance, for the sea is gentle and fierce in the same breath. Walk upon its waves, not with your feet, but with your heart." At that moment, thin strands of light stretched across the water, forming a transparent bridge of shimmering waves. Ava took Fluffy's paw and stepped on it. The bridge moved with each ripple, alive, trembling, but did not break. She steadied her breath, inhale as the wave rose, exhale as it sank. Fluffy wobbled at first, but soon followed her rhythm. When they reached the end, the manta circled above and gifted them a crystal of harmony. "Hold it to your chest," it said, "and your heart will beat with the sea's rhythm." Ava placed it beside the shell of truth. 2 tokens glowed softly in her pack. Captain Crobby nodded. "1 token down. Now, onward to the singing dolphins." Chapter 4. The Singing Dolphins. As evening came, golden light spread over the waves. "The third guardian awaits," said Crobby. "The singing dolphins, keepers of melody and courage." Near a shallow cove, 2 dolphins appeared, one sleek and large, one smaller and playful. Their voices sounded like both music and laughter. The larger one greeted them. "Hello, Ava. Hello, Fluffy. We will sing half a song. You must find the missing words with your heart." They began to sing. "When the moon whispers secrets to the tide, when silver dreams fall through the sky." Ava closed her eyes, holding the shell of truth to her ear. Inside, she heard a voice, gentle, ancient. Kindness is the only lantern that never goes out in a storm. Ava smiled and sang the missing line out loud. And when the heart is kind, the lanterns light themselves. The dolphins jumped joyfully, splashing silver arcs into the air. "The song is complete," they cheered. "Take this, the thread of light. Follow it whenever you feel lost." 3 tokens shone together now: shell, crystal, and thread. Krabi clapped his claws. "Perfect! Now we can reach the Island of Lanterns."
Chapter 5. The Nameless Storm. Night fell again. The wind began as a whisper, then roared into fury. The once smooth sea turned wild. Waves rose like black mountains, thunder rumbled, and lightning flashed like silver swords. "Hold the ropes!" shouted Krabi. "Reef the second sail!" Ava and Fluffy worked side by side, she gripping the ropes, he tugging at knots with his teeth. A giant wave crashed over the bow. The ship groaned, but did not break. "The tokens!" Ava cried. She pressed the crystal of harmony to her chest and whispered, "If the ship breathes with the sea, it will not drown." Krabi obeyed. The crew, shadows of mist and light, adjusted the sails to match the rhythm of the storm. The ship no longer fought the waves, it danced with them. Then Ava heard something faint through the thunder. Placing the shell of truth to her ear, she heard, "In the heart of the storm, something lost is calling for help." She looked out and saw a seabird, drenched and trembling, struggling against the wind. Ava tied the thread of light around the mast and threw it out. The glowing line arced through rain, wrapping gently around the bird, pulling it safely onto the deck. Fluffy licked its wet feathers tenderly, while Krabi covered it with a blanket. The storm passed as suddenly as it came. When calm returned, the bird opened its eyes and said softly, "I am the messenger of the lanterns. You have proven yourselves. The path to the island is ahead." Chapter 6. The Island of Lanterns. Morning arrived with golden calm. The ship glided into the bay of a breathtaking island. It looked like a giant emerald seashell, covered in trees of crystal and glass. Thousands of lanterns hung from the branches, blue, pink, violet, gold, each glowing faintly or flickering like a memory. The messenger bird perched on Ava's shoulder. "Each lantern holds a human story," it said, "but many have gone dark. If you can awaken 3 of them, the city of glass and coral beneath the sea will open for you." Ava nodded. "How do we awaken them?" "Using your tokens," said the bird, "and something that cannot be named until you do it." The first lantern hung over a small pond. It should have been blue, but it was gray and dull. Ava listened through the shell of truth and heard, "Its owner believes no one listens." She took out her notebook and wrote gently, "I hear you." Then she read aloud words of unseen kindness, feelings left unsaid but understood. The lantern shimmered, then glowed bright blue. The second lantern was purple and lifeless. Ava pressed the crystal of harmony to her chest and heard, "Its owner is lost between choices." She picked up a pebble and dropped it into the pond. Ripples spread in circles. "Every choice makes a wave,"
Ava whispered. "Follow the calmest one." The lantern pulsed with violet light and came alive. The third lantern was golden, dim with shyness. Ava tied the thread of light to it and said, "Sometimes all it takes is a single thread of hope." The lantern flared, glowing like sunrise. The messenger bird fluttered happily. "The gates to the city of glass and coral are open. Follow the bubbles."
Chapter 7.
The gates of glass and coral. From the island shore, bubbles the size of stars rose from the sea, beckoning them below. Crobby opened a small chest. "Moonlight diving suits," he said proudly. They were light and shimmering, like wearing air itself. Even Fluffy had a tiny tail fin attached to his suit, which made him look delightfully proud. As they sank beneath the surface, the water felt like velvet. Ahead, the gate of glass and coral appeared. A grand arch woven from pink and orange coral, adorned with pearly lights. It opened soundlessly. Beyond lay a city of wonder, houses of light, gardens of drifting seagrass, and schools of glowing fish moving like living lanterns. A silver-tailed mermaid swam towards them, her hair floating like ribbons of moonlight. "Welcome, Ava and Fluffy," she said. "I am Nilo, guardian of the city of glass and coral." Ava's eyes sparkled. "Are you a mermaid?" Nilo smiled. "If being a mermaid means listening to the sea and looking with kindness, then yes." Crobby saluted respectfully. Nilo continued, "You've lit the island of lanterns, but the sea still has a dark corner, the silent tangle, where trash and sadness have trapped the flow of life. If you help free it, the sea will gift you the moonlight ember, a light small enough to fit in your pocket, yet strong enough to chase away any darkness." Chapter 8. The Silent Tangle. The path led through a blue canyon where pale starfish clung to the walls, dull and still. The current was slow and heavy, thick with debris, plastic bags, nets, bottles, all swirling like a gray ghost. Tiny fish were trapped, fluttering weakly. Ava whispered, "We can fix this." Nilo nodded. "Not with force, with flow. Each piece must find its right place again." Crobby unfolded a map. Fluffy darted ahead, nimble and careful, pulling at tangled threads with his claws. Ava used Nilo's special coral scissors to cut loops of rope, but only after checking that she wouldn't hurt the living coral nearby. It was long, slow work, but at last the current sighed, a long, clean breath. The starfish glowed faintly. The trapped fish darted free. Nilo pointed to the last knot, black and tight. "That's the nameless knot," she said. Up close, Ava saw it wasn't trash. It was old sorrow stuck to forgotten things. She placed the shell of truth to her ear and heard, "This knot will loosen only through forgiveness without a name." Ava closed her eyes. "For all who've hurt the sea without knowing, I'm sorry and I forgive. Let's start again." The knot trembled, then unraveled softly. Light spread like dawn through the canyon. Far away, the whale sang, the manta danced, and dolphins sang their 3 bright notes. Chapter 9. The Moonlight Ember. When they returned, the underwater city sparkled brighter than ever. In the square, Nilo held out a small seashell box that shimmered faintly. "This," she said, "is the moonlight ember. When darkness fills your heart and no lamp can shine, open this. Not too much, just enough to see the way forward." Ava placed the box beside her tokens. Krabi asked, "But why did the lanterns go dark in the first place?" Nilo sighed gently. "Because people forgot to finish their stories with kindness. Without kind endings, the lanterns slowly fade." Ava nodded. "Then I must go back and tell the stories." As she spoke, a glowing bubble appeared, showing her own window at home, the curtain moving softly, the notebook waiting on her desk. Nilo took her hand. "You'll return now, but remember, whenever you listen to the waves, the sea listens back."
Chapter 10. Return on the Moon Mist. The Ship of Moonlight rose once more to the surface. Ava, Fluffy, and Captain Krabi waved to Nilo, who stayed by the waves, her silver tail flickering like light itself. "Whenever your window lantern dims, open the moonlight ember. That's how I'll know you're calling me." The sails filled with wind. The whale's fountain glittered in farewell. The manta spun gracefully across the horizon. The dolphins sang their joyful farewell song. Krabi saluted. "You were the finest travelers I've ever had. Take this, the map of invisible paths. It shows not roads, but truths. Follow it when sight fails you." Ava thanked him. The ship glided gently onto the shore behind her house. When she stepped onto the sand, the garden returned, but she knew the sea would always sing inside her heart. Chapter 11. The Lantern in the Window. That night, Ava sat at her desk. Fluffy curled on her lap as she began to write the story of the Island of Lanterns. Whenever her thoughts tangled, she pressed the crystal of harmony to her heart. Whenever she doubted, she listened through the shell of truth. Whenever her words lost their way, she touched the thread of light. When she wrote the final line, "Every heart that ends its story with kindness lights its own lantern," the small lantern on her windowsill glowed by itself. Not too bright, not too dim, just enough to light the path to tomorrow. Fluffy purred softly, drifting to sleep. Ava left the window open, letting the distant hum of waves sing her to dreams. Chapter 12. A Letter to the Sea. The next morning, Ava walked to the beach. The blue shell invitation still shimmered faintly in the sand, next to tiny paw prints that sparkled in the sun. Ava knelt and wrote a letter. "Dear Sea, I'm sorry for the things forgotten, for the promises we broke. Thank you for your songs, your kindness, and your lanterns. I will tell your stories so no one forgets again. With love, Ava." She placed the letter in a small glass bottle and tied the thread of light around it, so it would always find its way back to safe shores. Chapter 13. The Firefly Party. That night, Ava invited her friends to the garden. Tiny jars of fireflies glowed softly, lighting up the table like floating stars. When Ava read the part about the nameless knot, the garden fell silent. One of the children whispered, "I think I had a knot like that too, but now it feels lighter." Ava smiled. Fluffy brushed against their legs, purring proudly as if he understood every word. When the story ended, the fireflies flew up into the night sky, their lights blending with the stars. Chapter 14. The New Invitation. The next morning, as Ava opened her window, the blue seashell glowed again. Golden letters shimmered across its surface. "Traveler of light, the moonlight ship sails once more to the island of clouds.
where the sky dreams of the sea. Ava held the shell close and whispered, "Maybe next time." Fluffy meowed softly, curling beside her. Chapter 15. The Promise of Tomorrow. That evening, Ava walked to the shore. The sea was calm, painted in gold and silver by the setting sun. She whispered, "Thank you for every story, every wave, every light." From somewhere far away, a bell rang, the same soft bell she'd heard on the Ship of Moonlight. Ava smiled. She knew the sea was listening. Fluffy pressed his head against her hand, purring. The lantern in her window glowed faintly behind them, not too bright, not too dim, just enough to see the way home.